Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream. Happy Sunday. You saw the title and you probably are wondering why I dress like this. And it's not a work day. Well, my wife dragged me to church today. It's been actually a long time since we've gone to church and I thoroughly enjoyed it. No matter what you believe, I was raised Christian. I was actually raised Catholic specifically. And we ended up going to a non-denominational church today and just hearing, stories of the good word or whatever you want to call it, peace on earth, fellowship to your fellow man, whatever it may be. It was good to see my daughter kind of dance, to the songs they were playing. She's 3. So, it was just a good time all around. I know I'm not the kind of person that'll go every single week, but it's good. I think it's good to kind of occasionally go. I had a good time. It was good. And everyone there was super nice. Way nicer than the Catholic church that I was raised in, as far as like coming up and saying hello. And then I saw someone I worked with there. And so it was good. It was good times. So what are you guys wearing today? How's everyone's Sunday going? Thank you, Dushan. Beautiful. Glad you're here with us, brother. Good evening indeed. Hey, Dev from Israel, how you doing, sir? Mwaj Diaman, non-magnetic cap. Oh, I've never smelled the non-magnetic cap, but I can tell you that the Diaman that I have, it is an older bottle, and you can kind of tell by the markings on the bottom that it's an older bottle, because Mwaj's markings on the bottom don't look like this anymore, but it is actually the magnetic cap version. But this is brilliant. One of the best peony fragrances of all time. It's so good. Do you get this candle-like, like this illumination effect, like this light, like it feels like you're smelling light. Diaman. I think dia actually means light in some language, if memory serves. But I could be wrong. I might have completely made that up. Do not quote me on that. Let's see what everyone's wearing, and then I'll give you my scent of the day. Good evening, Kevin. Hope Lakeland, Florida is treating you well, brother. Bergamot from Essential Parfums. Never smelled it. Actually, I've never smelled an Essential Parfums, Dev. How are you finding it? Yo, Rich. Yo. Welcome, my friend. Rich Mitch has the open invitation. If he ever wants to join, just let me know. Hey, Rachel. Rachel is the honorary guest of Channel Ram for the next month or so. She actually scored me a entire sample set very kindly out of the bottom of her heart and her pocketbook, so I very much appreciate that, of Strangelove New York City. And I'm hoping in the next month or two, after exploring the house some, it looks like the owner and founder of Strangelove New York City, her name is Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is actually going to join us, and we're going to do an interview, the first interview with my real equipment, my camera and my new microphone. So I hope that goes well. I'm very excited about that. Hello, Michael John. Hope you're doing well, man. Good evening, Stephen. Tesside, UK. How close are you to the duck? I believe in science and my pastor is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yes, I know exactly what you mean, right? I know exactly what you mean. And I completely agree with you, and I think you can still believe in science and believe in some sort of God somehow, some way. But that's it. To each their own, I've always been a to each their own person. Good evening. Hope Croatia is treating you well, man. Tobacco Reserve, beautiful. Aramis Tobacco Reserve. You said you didn't care for it as much, right, Stephen? Was that you? Did you like it or did you not like it? Scent of the day. Serge Luton's Fleur d'Oranger. Never smelled it, Joe. Never smelled it. But I should have some new Serge Lutons coming very soon, thanks to one of our perfume god people. Thinking about picking up PDLN3. Thoughts on it? Yes, I do have some thoughts on it. You know, I had a Discovery atomizer originally, the 7.5 ml, and then I ended up buying a full bottle. I wore the full bottle the other day, maybe like a couple months ago, actually, not the other day. Let's see if I can find it here. Which one are you? Is it you? Are you PDLN3? Nope, you're PDLN1. Are you PDLN3? Yes, you are. Okay, so here's the thing about PDLN3, and the selling point for me, honestly, is there's this opening moment, and opening the little boxes is, you know, this is probably one of the nicest presentations, but you have to wonder how much you're paying for this. I mean, there's damn hinges in the box. So PDLN3, the opening reminded me of Eau de Hermes the very first time I smelled it, because it has this spicy animalic undertone of leather going on, like right when you first spray. And it's very enjoyable for the first hour. The only thing that really hit me last time that I didn't realize the first couple times, 2, 3, 4 times that I wore it from the Discovery atomizer, is just how much that dry down smells like, you know, once you get past the first hour and it starts to go into the dry down, you know, it does kind of remind me of some other Roja fragrances and just other, you know, it smells like that generic luxury, high-end, niche luxury blob, if you will. You know, it just kind of gives, if this came in a Spirit of Dubai bottle or a Xerjoff bottle or, you know, pretty much anything else, it would fit right in my opinion. And I do still like this, but I struggled a little bit with the dry down. However, whenever I came back and I smelled my clothes, like for example, because I spray my neck and so some will kind of drip on my collar sometimes. If I go back and then the next day smell my collar, I enjoyed the dry down much more than I did the day I wore it, if that makes sense. When I wore it, I really enjoyed the opening. But then when I came back the day after and kind of smelled some of the bits that got on my clothes, I much more enjoyed the dry down. So it's kind of a strange fragrance for me still. I don't know if I should have pulled the trigger on a full bottle. I'm glad I have it because, you know, it is a really interesting scent. There's a big note of Amiris in PDLN3. Amiris supposedly plays a big role, and it's a plant from the citrus family that some Amiris species will actually exude elemi resins, and I don't know how elemi versus Amiris actually differ is the only thing. If it exudes elemi, isn't it just elemi? I mean, I don't know. So obviously there are some differences when they're used, but yes, I'll have to wear this more and kind of get to know it. That you know, Eau de Hermes opening bit, and we all know Roja loves his vintage fragrances, so there could be you know, there could be a hint, an homage paid to Eau de Hermes. The only thing is, you know, looking back on this, this is a $1,400 retail bottle, unless Roja cut the prices on this now. He's been cutting some prices. He's following in Tesla's footsteps and cutting some of their prices. And, you know, I just think to myself, why don't I just sell this and get what I can for it, $800-900, and just use that money to go buy a true vintage Eau de Hermes and back up Eau de Hermes and wear that? You know, that's my thought as I'm wearing this. And so while this is much more modern, it's probably easier to wear around the public compared to Eau de Hermes. Those are thoughts that are going through my mind. So I'm not 100% sold on it. I like it, and I know I've said I liked it before, and I do. But that last wear kind of left a little bit wanting. Now that there's some air in the bottle, I have to come back and wear it again. I hope that's. I hope that at least gives you some color on my thought, Arnie. Thanks for being here, though. Dia means day. That's right, Dushan. Thank you. Yeah, so there is a little bit of a light element, this light element to the fragrance. I'm really thinking long and hard about getting a full Chypre du Nord from Bortnikov. It was the prettier Bortnikov when I smelled them all in store. Yeah, it's really good. I've got a full bottle. I love it. But just be aware, Dev, if you have Musk Habib, Musk Habib and Chypre du Nord, I think, share very similar musk profiles, and he uses that natural deer musk in Chypre du Nord. And so just keep that in mind. I mean, you will get the Chypre construction, whereas Musk Habib, I think, kind of tries to focus a little bit more on the musk. But I think just having both of them having that natural musk, you will be reminded of one another when you wear one versus the other. I probably don't need to own both, but I love them both. So today is Chinese New Year, wearing a super authentic tea fragrance called Aged Tea from a Taiwanese house, P7. Ah, yes. Happy, what is it? Happy Lunar New Year, right? I'm not familiar with P7, Rachel. That's a niche inside of a niche. Very interesting. Haha, Etrogoma. Very nice. Juro, very nice. Etrogoma is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. One of my favorite leathers of all time. And in fact, Armando sent me this. Look at this. For those of you who haven't seen this yet, look at this right here. This is a very old bottle of Etrogoma. Look, it looks like someone literally just cut this out with scissors and, you know, glued this on the box. That's actually what it looks like. Like, it looks like I can put my finger in here and just peel it off. And this is a very old, this is their original design, which ran, I think, from 1989 until maybe the early 90s, early to mid 90s. I mean, this literally looks like a sticker. I don't know if you can see. It's almost even not cut straight. I don't know if you can kind of see that. I wish this camera focused better, but yes. And so Armando sent it to me, and I mean, look at the bottle, the box. Even the box looks like cardboard made in somebody's basement. You know, I look at this. How cool is that? And the bottle, same thing. So it's got this Rogue Perfumery little touch on the cap. You might notice the way that Rogue Perfumery does put his original bottles had this little handmade touch. So did the old Etro bottles. And then it has that sticker that looks like it is made and cut. It doesn't even look like it's on there perfectly straight. You know, it looks like somebody put that on by hand. And same thing with the Goma, you know. All of it looks and feels handmade. And the scent, oh my God. Oh, this sort of Knitze 10 leathery thing, but you know, it was done by one of my favorite perfumers of all time that gets almost no love. Etrogoma gets almost no love at all. And it was done by Edward Fleischier, who I think is a fantastic perfumer. And so the vintages come in eau de cologne versions. Yeah, this actually says, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it says Etro Cosmetics, copyright 1988, Etro. And it says, hydrates 50 mil, anhydrates 42.5 mil. Milano VS Spartaco 5, made in Italy, UTIF 998 MI. Yeah, ingredients, ethyl alcohol, water, and fragrance. I mean, just a cool little piece. And he was saying that he didn't think the fragrance was 100%. So he ended up getting his money back for it. And so that's how I ended up getting it for free from him. But man, I love this stuff. I didn't sense any turning of the fragrance. Even from the very first spritz, it was perfect. So thank you, Armando. I love it. Almost rivals your other leather gift that you gave me. Santa Maria Novella Pot Espana. We're going to talk about this until a bottle shows up on my doorstep. Fuck. Yeah, it's so good. It is so good. Yeah, Goma's amazing. Hey, Stan. Welcome, my friend. Yes, that's right. Should I tell him what I bought, Rich? Should I tell him, or should we keep it a secret? Well, first I have to do scent of the day, because the two coincide with one another. Yep, Dia's light. That's right. Dia light or day or... Hey, Dead in the Water, what's happening? Central Parfums as a whole is a very pleasant brand. $75 for 100 ml. Nice. Yeah, it does sound reasonable, Dev, for sure. Hey, Vitor, welcome. Yo, Bren. His dad's from Hong Kong. Mom's from Taiwan. He was born in the USA. Nice. Thinking that the older Etros getting deserved love in the community lately. Yes, and they deserve that love. Seriously, the other Etro that I have, and I would love to add more. Actually, you know what? I have an Etro that I have yet to spray even. It was a sample that Rachel sent me. So I guess if the live stream gets kind of boring, we can always do an early impression. I would love to. I'll just give you my initial thoughts. It's called Palais Royale, I believe. I think it's beautiful from what I hear. Good evening, Nick. Welcome. Hey, Keith. Good evening, my friend. Yep, I'm glad Etro's getting some love. Let me show you the other one I found in vintage style that I really like so far. So the Eau de Colognes are the older ones. This one's called Ambra. Etro Ambra. And if the camera would focus, I can show you that it says Eau de Cologne. Even covering my face doesn't do anything. But it does say Eau de Cologne right here. That's what you're looking for if you want the older bottles. And Ambra is an amazing amber. I mean, I've gotten lucky and found some top-notch amber fragrances lately. So Ambra is one of the original releases from '89. It's bergamot, coriander, labdanum, amber, rose, geranium, styrax, apopanax, musk, vanilla, and patchouli. And it is a little bit powdery. That's one of the, I would say one of the biggest differences between some of the other ambers that I've talked about lately, like Ambre Rousse or something like that. The Ambra from Etro is a little bit powdery, but it's a beautiful, I have yet to smell an Etro that isn't beautiful. That isn't just gorgeous perfumery, if that makes sense. And I know Rich Mitch is more of an expert on Etro, which is funny because I remember when I first discovered Etro, I was raving to Rich about Goma. Like, I was like, dude, this is one of the best leathers I've ever smelled. And then he ended up finding someone that has these really old, the older Etros have this paisley. It actually says paisley right here. But the older Etros are Eau de Cologne like this. The newer ones are Eau de Toilette. They still kind of look like this bottle, but they're Eau de Toilette. And the really old ones look like this, or they're a splash. If you see like an old splash in a square box, that's the original Etros. And I remember telling him how great this is. And then he went out and just started collecting them, and rightly so, because they are a hell of a brand that deserves much more love in the fragrance community than what they get. So he'll probably be a better person to ask on some of these other Etros, but I can speak to these two, especially Goma. Goma is my That's my speed for sure. I found used Koros 1981, 269 euros. If it's a full 100 mil or whatever it was, yeah, I think that's very fair. I mean, that's kind of what they're going for. The original Charles of the Ritz, yeah, they're hard to find too. Good evening, Magnum. Welcome. End of the day, Paul Sebastian Fine Cologne. Nice. Do you have the do you like, what do you think about that? I think I've got it floating around here somewhere. I just don't know where. Yeah, I'd have to find it. I don't know where I have it. It's not bad though, right? Dead in the Water. There's a lot of yellow flowers in it for me. Buy it right now, Cam. It's a ridiculously strong white floral. Less is definitely more. Oh wow, that does not sound like it would be my vibe. Denim for Men aftershave. Nice. I think that's one of the most underrated leather sheepers of all time. About 40-minute drive to the Duck. That's not bad at all. Smelled Jubilation Man 25 new version today, and what a disappointment. Is it only me or have they ruined that one? Well, rumor is that they ruined all of the new Amouages. Sadly, very sadly. It's a sad state of affairs. And you know what? I've probably heard that from 50 people in the last couple months. I'm not exaggerating. Probably 50 people have come forth and said, you know, the new Amouage sucks. It only lasts 2 hours on me. And, you know, and that's why I said in previous videos, if you follow me, you know how angry and upset I am at the new creative director for what they've done, the direction they've taken Amouage. And, you know, on one hand, people are like, well, they're breaking records profit-wise. I mean, you can Google Amouage has record profit in just the last quarter that they made their announcement. You'll be able to see that they have broken records. They've made more money than ever for the company, but they've completely lost their respectability, their, you know, what people think of them. You know, they've completely lost that. It's out the window. You know, people no longer respect the house like they used to. So I feel like they're you know, I feel like they're trading long-term, you know, long-term sustained success of the company for short-term immediate growth. You know, that's my opinion as an outsider, as an ex-Amouage lover. And you can see all of these are Amouages. There's Amouage behind these even. You can't see that I don't have the boxes for. And so you guys know my love of Amouage. There's Sunshine Man. I put Overture Man #1 on my ranked not a top 10 boozy fragrances video that I did yesterday. So I'm a huge Amouage fanboy, but the old Amouage, I don't like the new. I don't like the direction that the new one's going in. And so even though they're breaking records profit wise, I feel like it's sacrificing the long-term, you know, the long-term, I don't want to say survivability, because I think the brand will survive, but I think they're sacrificing their reputation. That's the word I was looking for. They're sacrificing their reputation for short-term profits. So that's my take on it, which means now everyone is looking for older Amouage. So Arij Baikal Grisnik, I've never smelled that one. Apparently, the lake that is named after is the largest landlocked lake in the world. And apparently there's supposed to be an amazing ambergris note in that. Enrique, welcome. Scent of the day, Reflection Man 45. Never smelled it yet. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, starting to like it a lot more now. Old school is still modern. Yes, that's right. It will continue to grow on you, Steven. I know what you mean with that Tonka sweetness. And you know I don't like sweetness, and I love that fragrance. I think they knocked it out of the park. Yeah, it's been reformulated for sure. Rothschild EDT. Never smelled that, Keith. Loves that vintage Rothschild. Nice. I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger for PDLN 3. You know, if you got it for $500 like I did, it's good. Okay. Do not pay $1,000. Don't pay $1,400. 500 and under. Even 500 is really pushing it, but it is 100 mil. You know, probably 300 or 400 would be better, but great taste indeed. Yep. Scott was telling me how some of his new amouages only last a couple hours that he smelled. Yeah, that's the thing. It is expensive. I think PDLN3 is the best, with number 1 being second and number 2 the final runner up. You're a student, Dev. You've got school to pay for. Tom Ford Amber Absolute. Very nice. I would love to have a bottle. Is that a vintage bottle of Braz? I'm jealous. That's one that's on the wish list that's just impossible to find at a good deal. This will be my first Bortnikov buy. Yeah, Chypre du Nord's amazing. It really is good. You can skip Musk Habib, though, if you decide to buy that one. Yes, happy Lunar New Year indeed, Rachel. Yeah, I know. I don't like the Parfum colognes, to be honest with you, Paulus. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick Enigma Parfum Cologne, but Fragonard Toujours Fidèle. Yes, never smelled that one, but thank you, Baptiste. Yep, church today. That's why I said peace on earth. Or peace be with you, as they say in the Catholic masses. First two characters, they mean New Year, and I don't know, the third one might be happy. The last two mean happy. That's right. That's how a good niche fragrance should wear on you. New Year and quick joy. Nice. Yep. Church close. And then I got to go do some traveling next week got to do some traveling for work. So I had to get my suits dry cleaned and all that fun stuff. Actually, Etro's nowadays is a fashion house, but they released their fragrances before becoming one. They were known for their fine fabrics and leather goods at the time. Thanks for that, Juro. Do tell. Okay, well, let's do scent of the day, because I haven't even shown you guys what my scent of the day is. So scent of the day is one of the greatest lavender fragrances of all time, in my opinion. I think that this is just completely and totally underrated as a fragrance. And I think it still goes to show kind of the divide between the vintage masculines, that the counterpart for this fragrance, the vintage masculine, for this fragrance usually goes anywhere between $400 and $1,000 in the secondary market. Okay. Now this I actually got for under $100 a couple years back. I should have bought two, but I only have one. This is the Eau de Parfum of Ma Liberté by the house of Jean Patou. And so Ma Liberté is a Jean Carlio creation. Look at the color of that juice, man. It's perfect. So elegant with the Jean Patou logo. I love these bottles. They spray. This is one of the best sprayers in the game, too. These rival Creed. You can control it. I mean, I put a little spray here before going out today, and it literally And I didn't hold it right up on it. I mean, I was a ways back, and it literally almost got down to my collar. Like I was like moving it around with my neck, trying to make sure it didn't touch my shirt. Hell of a sprayer on these. And so if you don't know Ma Liberté is a feminine targeted release. And it was originally issued in 1987. And Giancarlo is, I think, one of the greatest perfumers of all time. This is heliotrope, citrus fruits, clove, jasmine, lavender, rose, musk, nutmeg, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver, cedar, and cinnamon. And the reason that these old Jean Patou fragrances are so sought after, so hunted by collectors like me, is that Giancarlo was through and through to his core. He was someone who loved fine French perfumery of the days gone by. Okay. And so whenever he built a fragrance like this, he liked to use the finest ingredients. And for him, he loved to use huge slugs of oak moss, real Mysore sandalwood, the stuff that's basically missing nowadays, right? That's the way he liked to build a fragrance. And you can smell it in the ingredients. This smells like a Roja Dove. I mean, this smells like the $1,000 perfume I just showed, PDLN3. Actually, this smells better than PDLN3, but it wears like something you would expect to come in a $1,000 bottle, if that makes sense. Even though you can still get these for 100, 120, 140, whatever it may be. These little 50 mils, you might be able to get for even $100 or less still. But this is the EDP. I've never tried the EDT. I would love to try the EDT, but thanks to, and let me know what you're wearing today too, by the way, but thanks to Mike B, there'll be an unboxing very soon. I don't know if Mike's here or not, but he actually sold me his bottle of Jean Patou Pour Homme Privé. Now, Privé came out in the early to mid 90s. So it was 1994. It was 1994. And Privé, I see it as like the masculine counterpart of Ma Liberté. It's lavender, bergamot, sandalwood, patchouli, hay, and vanilla. And one of the things that Patou Pour Homme is missing is that lavender. There is no lavender in the much vaulted, $1,000 bottle that you'll find floating around on eBay of the original Jean Patou Pour Homme from 1980. There's no lavender. There's lots of real Mysore sandalwood. There's vetiver. There's pimento and clary sage and this Malabar pepper note and cedar. And he does the same thing here with Ma Liberté. He mixes the sandalwood with cedar wood. And so there's sandalwood, there's cedar wood, there's this warmth of cinnamon, but this is one of the best lavender fragrances I've ever smelled, ever. It's such a distinct take on lavender. You think, oh, lavender is lavender, right? Everyone smelled lavender. It's the same smell. This is lavender with a twist. This is lavender with an artist's hand. This is lavender in a unique way, in a different way. You still can tell that the lavender is such an important part of the creation. And, the fact that this fragrance was marketed towards women, I mean, look at the notes. Again, you've got clove, you've got nutmeg, you've got patchouli, you've got cinnamon, and this could easily be a masculine fragrance nowadays because lavender is often associated with masculine fragrances like fougères. However, this is not a fougère. Just because a fragrance has lavender does not make it a fougère, right? And so if I'm just ranking my lavender list, this is going to be very close to the top. And that Jean Patou Pour Homme Privé is going to be very close to the top as well. The heliotrope here is also very evident. It's almost like you can feel it more than smell it. You can feel the texture, the Play-Doh like, imagine a ball of Play-Doh cinnamon in your hand. and you can smell the cinnamon, but you can mold the Play-Doh. That's what the heliotrope cinnamon combination. And then you imagine this lavender, the most posh lavender, one of the best sandalwood, cedarwood, woody dry downs you'll ever smell. It transitions. It lasts forever. It's just amazing. And if you want to smell fine French perfumery, but you don't want to spend huge money, that's the thing, is you don't have to. To get your foot in the door, you don't have to spend huge money. For the price of a Francesca Bianchi fragrance, you could have this. And this blows every single Francesca Bianchi fragrance I've ever smelled out of the water 1,000,000 times over. Wearing this, it feels like you're wearing like a well-kept secret. You know what I mean? Like something that only you and a friend know about. So yes, Ma Liberté is my scent of the day, and I can't wait to unbox that Patou pour Homme Privé. And I got it at a very, very reasonable price. He was very fair to me. And it's the EDT. There's only one EDT on eBay right now in America, one Patou pour Homme Privé EDT, and they want double what I paid for it. So I feel very blessed. All right, let's see what everyone's wearing. Diaz Daylight. Nice. Thanks, Vitor. Appreciate that. I loved Al Majmua. That's a beautiful Chypre as well. Thanks for that, Ugar. Zadig and Voltaire, I'm testing out Nishani's Fan Your Flames. Nice. What do you think of it? I love it. Thanks for dropping by. Both of you have some secrets? Secret de Parfum? Yes, that's right. Rich Mitch knew. Hello, Perfume Eros. Welcome. You still think the same about Sweetie Oud, or have you tried it? I have not had a chance to try it again. I'm gonna do a video on it. I was planning on doing a video on it, like a standalone video on it, where I can, wear it and talk about it and stuff like that. Etro. Etro is the perfume lover's secret. Ah, Salome. Beautiful. I love Salome. Speaking of great niche houses, Papillon. Sometimes you have to tell us multiple times, Juro. Ah, yes, Monday morning here. Hello, Babouche. I can't say I recall exactly what Pinard Clubman smells like, so I can't say if you're right or wrong, or to my nose anyways, Abraz, but I did like PS Fine Cologne, but I found that yellow flower, if it was ylang ylang or whatever it was, that floral note that mixed with the musk was extremely overdosed. And so I struggled a little bit with that. I liked it, but I don't love it yet. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one to find, Dev, and you're going to have to probably spend big money to get Yoji Homme, because you want the one from 1999. The rest of them are shite. But yes, I hear he's got amazing outfits as well. Ah, Rochas Globe, a beauty. What do you make of that, Perfume Eros? Hello, Antonio. Welcome. I hope you're not working on a Sunday, mate. Times are modern. We like retro, but if you find vintage etro, that's right. Make it happen. Did a sample test of all of the current M1s lineup, about 46 cents, and compared them to my vintage bottle. All but 2 are ruined. Yeah, I think it's just pretty much to say that Amouage is dead. Long live Amouage. And that new stuff they put out is a travesty. It is. It's not for people like us. It's marketed for the younger crowd, I would say. The people that want to buy Amouage because their favorite influencer is holding up a bottle of Amouage. They're not actually breaking down the juice. They're not wearing it because they love the fragrance. They're wearing it because they think it's cool, it's trendy. And he, the new guy kind of switched the culture to that. And in that, they've been able to save money a couple different ways. Number one is obviously the reformulation of whatever sort people are saying. I mean, I can't say for sure because I don't know if that's true or not, but it certainly smells that way to me. And from what I've heard. And number two is he shut down the gray market. So remember how you could find these amouages just, at retail, they're $400, but at discounters, you'd find them for $100. He's pretty much closed that line of communication. So the only stuff left at discounters is old stock, because what was happening is it was very hard for amouage to maintain a base in Oman and a base in the United Kingdom. Because if you look on some of these bottles, like for example, this particular one right here, my bottle of Journeyman, for example, is a made in the UK bottle, right? It's made in the UK. And so they were having a hard time with stock kind of slipping out. So they kind of took the Chanel route and they said, you know what? We're going to control everything. And so the only ones left at discounters, it seems, are stuff like Figment, which doesn't sell, Mythsman, which doesn't sell, stuff like that. And all of what they did is they closed the UK plant and they brought it all back to Oman, where they could really, run it with an iron fist, so to speak. And so that's kind of how they've been able to save so much money. But it's not all about money. That's the thing is especially when, it's not like Amouage is Chanel and they sell clothes to women, or it's not like they're Dior and they've got, they've got $850 jeans that they sell as well. I mean, Amouage is a perfume house through and through, and they just let somebody come in and completely change the culture. That's the word. Completely changed the culture of Amouage. And so, it's something that I understand the people that own Amouage, now that the Sultan is dead, they obviously want more money. Everyone wants more money, but to sacrifice your soul in the pursuit of more money, I don't know. I mean, I would maybe take play the longer game. In my opinion, I think they made a fatal error in judgment. I wouldn't be surprised if they're back begging Christopher Chong to come back personally, but hell, I could be wrong. Maybe this is the route that they're going to go, and that's it. It's over, and we'll just look back and say fondly that, man, we missed the good old days of Amouage, but that's what it seems like to me. Yes, happy Sunday. Thanks, man. Nino Cerruti Poron from the 70s. You should do a not ranked daring fragrances list. That's an interesting topic. I'll have to think about that. I don't know how I would do that because what I view as daring, you may not, and someone told me yesterday, because yesterday I wore what I considered a very daring fragrance, which was Figment Man, and they said that they didn't find Figment Man daring, and I was like, really? You didn't find Figment Man daring? I mean, this is like a modern day Koros for me, man. So at least in the way it smells and wears, and that civet note, and that challengingness, and there's absolutely nothing very little likable about it. I mean, it's a challenging perfume. Lots of earthy notes and all this kind of stuff. And so I thought it was daring. They didn't. So if I did it though, it'd just have to be what I would consider daring. The only two which still hold up to the old, at least to me, are Jubilation 25 Woman and Gold Woman. Interesting. Very interesting. I really like Jubilation 25 Woman. I mean, really, really like it. Shout outs to Dushan for making me realize how much I liked it. Look, Mudasir's cat's hair is still all over this bag. He's got this Persian cat you'll see in the background of his pictures sometimes. I love Jubilation for Women. It's like this perfect blend of Chypre and Oriental and that cumin note in the top, man. And it does definitely compete with Diaghilev. Is that Rothschild Editilla tobacco in a tobacco in a frosted bottle? I've never smelled it. It's a small world indeed. Good evening, Jonathan. Welcome. Just scored Vintage Epic Man yesterday. Congrats. Those are going to be harder and harder and harder to find now that people know. The word is getting out. The word is getting out for sure. New Juby 25 shite. 20 sprays and need to respray every 2 hours. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable, because the old Jubilation used to last for 17 hours. I mean, it was a beast. Go watch Mark from the Robes 08's channel, Jubilation videos, where he talks about it. You know, and it was one of his favorite fragrances for a decade. He had a 50 ml bottle, and he only used 25 mils in 10 years because it's so strong. It's just unbelievable what they've done. Evening, Dev. Scent of the day, Stefan Umber Lucas Uma. Never smelled it. I want to dive into that brand more. I definitely want to dive into that brand. Coriolan, a beauty. I think I prefer to wear Coriolan in the heat, but I bet it's beautiful in January, man. Thank you, Hito Zen. Good to see you in the comments, man. YSL Tuxedo. Women love it. They do. They absolutely do. I think it's that vanilla thing in the base. Have you ever smelled Moustache Eau de Parfum? Do you think they're close, Antonio? That, or read about the Roman general Coriolan. Thank you, Daver. Gucci Guilty Absolute on the way. That's good to hear, Terry. You will love it. You will absolutely love it. Or if you don't love it, you will grow to love it. Okay? That's the way I feel about it. If you don't love it, you will grow to love it. Set it aside, come back to it. I mean, one of the best designers of the last, what, 5-10 years, you would say? It is very, very good. It is very, very good. And to think this is an Alberto Moria, so this goes to prove that he has it in him, you know? He could do daring pieces. But, you know, he's a lot of times he's working for the houses they want stuff that sells. So they want him to do stuff like Versace Dylan Blue Man or whatever the hell it is. I hate that stuff. I need an Epic Man review. Well, I will tell you, AC from the channel Smells Good just did one. And, you know, he mentioned that he gets this green waterfall-like effect. And I don't get that, but I will just tell you how I feel about it. This is my imagery, Antonio. Imagine that you are on the, imagine that you're on that, oh, what did they call it back in the day? The Silk Road. Imagine you're on the Silk Road, traveling from Arabia to China or China to Arabia, whichever you prefer. And you've been traveling all day. You're sweaty, you're hot, because you're in the damn desert. You're on camels and horses and donkeys and all this stuff in a caravan. And you stop in the middle of the night and you light a fire. And you start to have some drinks with your fellow travelers, and you guys start to have a little bit more fun. And so you take some of the spices that are with you and you just throw them in the fire. And whenever they erupt, to your surprise, they erupt green, emerald green in the sky. That's the imagery of Epic Man. And one thing that AC from the channel Smells Good did get right is there is this castoreum animalic-like vibe in the dry down. 100%, it's there. But it never puts me off. I mean, he said he only does one spray. I'll do 5 sprays of this. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 1 on each hand or something like that. Maybe not 5, maybe 4 sprays. And so I think you can go a little bit heavier than just 1 spray. He was like, don't go over 1 spray. I disagree with that. I mean, hell, I plan on using, like I said, you can see the juice level. I have put a little bit of a dent in this bottle. And you can see mine doesn't even say Epic on the sides or the front. It only says it right here on the collar. So there's all these different versions. I think this is a made in Oman. Yeah, mine's made in Oman, an older made in Oman bottle. Yeah, for sure. And it's not a, and it's an original, it's not an original friction cap. It's a magnetic cap, but it's very, very good. I mean, if you can just find an older bottle, it doesn't have to be, the friction cap from 2009 when it first came out. Just find one where it doesn't say Epic right here on the front, and I think you'll be happy. Because I hear even this, and this is a beast. AC's saying, don't do more than 1 spray. That's how big it is. And now people are complaining that it doesn't last but 3 hours. So, I mean, just go for one of the older bottles if you can. But a full review, I will have to wear this more. I'm always very cautious on doing full reviews because, especially with something like this, that's a pure love for me. It's one of my favorite Amouage fragrances of all time. And so I want to make sure that I do it justice. I always want to make sure that I don't leave things out. And that takes planning and wearing and, taking notes and all of this stuff. So I'll be glad to just casually talk about it. But a full review, I got to wear it more. Not Scandal Cologne, Scandal Parfum Pour Homme, but lasts like a cologne. Oh, I see. Are you talking about the Pure Parfum? Yes. Well, that's why I was saying I prefer the Eau de Parfum because I have the Pure Parfum from Lucky Scent. I've got like one of those 1 ml dabber things that everyone hates. And I've tested that, and I've tested the Parfum Cologne, and I've tested it to my vintage Eau de Parfum on the paper label. And I prefer the Eau de Parfum between the 3. How are the latest versions of Sunshine Man? No clue. Obviously, if you believe Benji, the only 2 left that are still holding up, Jubilation 25 and Gold, yeah, they're ruined. So yeah, if that's true, they're not the same. Yo, DJ, welcome. Thanks, Frito-Lin. Lumiere Pour Homme by MFK, their best. Unfortunately, discontinued. I've never smelled it. Never had the chance to smell it. Yep, skip the new bottles with Epic on the front. That's what everyone's saying. Hello, Cuban. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, my dad bought a bottle when it came out, so I stole it from him. Ah, yes, you're right. Thank you. Sorry about that, Arbaz. Although I always say that I'm Texan, so I get a pass, but that's just I can't read, so apologies. Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. Very nice. I prefer the Absolute or the Vintage, but I know the Parfum has a big following. Do you get a booziness from it? I did include that in my boozy fragrance video that I did yesterday. Where can I get a bottle of Sunshine Man? You're going to have to probably scour the secondary market, man, and try to find a vintage. Dapper is the right word. Thank you, Rachel. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to do that video on Strangelove, New York City. Yep, you'll enjoy it way more for sure. How do you like Salome, Scott? Hey, Allie, welcome. I'm going to check my P.O. box tomorrow, so your amouage sample should be here. Should be here tomorrow. Can't wait. Ma Liberté is amazing, isn't it? My Freedom. The animalic touch is so perfect. It's currently in my top 10. Yeah, it's really, really good. Papillon is just one of those houses that, even with all of the restrictions and everything that holds all of these other houses back, she just continues to just pump out classics. I love Liz Moore's works. Yep, gigantic Chypre. Afternoon, Anuj. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, sir. I didn't test Sunshine Overture, so can't tell. Okay, but it's weird. I even noticed an issue with scents that are as recent as Rose Incense. The 50 ml was a powerhouse, 100 ml. You know, I regret. That's one thing I regret. I regretted going for the 100 ml of Silver Oud. I wish I would have went with the 50 ml because I thought, no way they would reformulate a scent that just came out in 2021, right? Like 2021 between the new bottles in 2022 and 100 ml had to be the same, right? And now I'm really kicking myself for not going for the vintage 50 ml. It is utterly beautiful, Ma Liberté. Yes, it is. And you've got the EDT, don't you? So you have to get the EDP. I have to get the EDT. I think it's worth owning both, to be honest with you. Anuj ships everywhere, Scott. The world is Anuj's oyster. Rachel the Greats. You tried Caldy Island Lavender. I have not. No. Sorry, DJ. Never even heard of that one. Have you spelled Esprit de Tigre from Healy? He says it is inspired by Tiger Balm. Interesting. I have a newer splash bottle of Ma Liberté. Nothing like the quality one you just showed with the aldehydes. I couldn't tell there was lavender in there. They made a new bottle of Ma Liberté. Oh, do you mean in the bottle that looks like do you mean the bottle that looks like those reformulated Patou Pourhomme that they sell in that collection Heritage that came out in 2013 or 14 or 15 or whatever it was called? I didn't know they put Ma Liberté in those. Man, that's crazy. Sorry to hear that. Well, that just goes to show. I mean, I think after Jean Carlio left the house, I think that they went down the moneyed route as well, that he was kind of holding them back. And I've told this story before, but there was a fragrance that he did that was called, what was it called? It was called Voyageur. Have you guys heard of this one? So there's actually this little boat right here. There's some on eBay right now. I think it'd be cool as hell to have just as a collector's item. But it's like this boat, and this bottle sits in the middle, and so it's like part of the boat. It like works into the like a little statue. It's part of the boat. But Voyageur, Jean Patou Voyageur is one of Jean Carlio's last fragrances from the house. And if you look, I don't know if you can see, but that actually says copyright 1994 right here. And this is a 90s bottle. One of my favorite aquatics of all time. And the reason is that the house of Jean Patou wanted Jean Carlio to make an aquatic for years because aquatics were catching on as early as the late 80s. You had Cool Water, and then even before Cool Water, you had, Aramis New West. And so they could kind of see where the winds were blowing, and he just rebuked their offers. He rebuffed them constantly. Nope, not going to do it. Nope, he was in charge. It was his. He was the in-house perfumer. And back then, you have to remember, back then, in-house perfumers, they didn't have all these focus groups and all this stuff back then. Back then, the in-house perfumer was the one that decided what was made, and the public went along with it, right? But at this point, they almost were like, we are no longer asking, we are telling you to make an aquatic. And so what did he do? So with Voyager, he took this aquatic idea, if you will, of a little bit of cologne, and he created a fragrance that is reminiscent of the fragrances that he made for Jean Patou in the style that he loved. So, for example, if you've smelled Ma Liberté, if you smelled Patou Pour Homme, if you smell Patou Pour Homme Privé, you will smell all of that fine French perfumery style in this. But all he did is he took a little bit of cologne and put it at the top, and or some sort of aquatic feel for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. And so you can smell that freshness, but it immediately devolves into this fine French perfume cologne. And that's the reason it didn't do well. By this point in time, people no longer wanted just a little bit of cologne. They wanted a shit ton of cologne. They wanted a pure aquatic, like the big seller of the day. The year after this, 1995, you all know what came out, Acqua di Gio, and that's what people wanted. They wanted a true aquatic. That's what was selling heavy. And so, you know, this wasn't the biggest seller. I think it was a little bit of a flop, but there's real Mysore sandalwood in this. I got this for $40, this 50 mil, $40. You would have to spend, I don't know how much money. How much money would you have to spend to recreate this fragrance today using real Mysore sandalwood? I mean, I have no clue. $500, $800. I mean, I have no idea. What could they even get the Mysore sandalwood to make it? And so it's interesting. It's an interesting little experiment when you look back on it and you look back on the history. And then, of course, he was on his way out. So he kind of did this and went, peace, guys. I'm going to run the Osma Tech. Goodbye. And after this, of course, Jean Patou just went. After they lost their connection, their true connection to the past. I mean, he had been their perfumer for like 40 years or something. I mean, it was like an unbelievable run. You know, him and Jean-Paul Guerlain both had these unbelievable runs at Guerlain and at Jean Patou. And so it's an interesting little story to tell, because it just goes to show that that even back then, you know, everything wasn't as simple as we try to make it seem. There were even back then, some of the stuff that we love now and hold in such high regard was a flop. You know, it didn't sell. Now, looking back on it, history judges it very kindly. I judge it very kindly. I think this is one of the best aquatics for someone like me who loves vintages. But back in the day, in the 90s, this didn't sell because it didn't have enough of that aquatic note. It was just a little bit of aquatic with fine French perfumery underneath. The oak moss in this is stunning, by the way. The oak moss, the real Mysore sandalwood, the sage. It's just amazing. Yes, Ma Liberté, you're going to love it. I mean, literally, I'm going to have to think long and hard. For me, there's 2 lavender fragrances that are not fougères that would compete for the top spot of my favorite lavenders. It would be this or this. I mean, that's it. These 2. I mean, this is going to be the battle. And I think I'm probably leaning here just because of the, you know, this is mostly lavender and vanilla, lavender, lavender, lavender. Whereas there's so many layers here. It's so beautiful. I mean, but then if you're doing a ranked lavender list, how does probably the greatest masculine lavender of all time not be number 1? So that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one to rank. But yes, but I mean, it's that good. I mean, it's probably one of the best. And Rich Mitch even mentioned it in the video that he did. Like, this is one of the If you go watch his unboxing video where he talked about it for the very first time, one of the best uses of lavender that I've ever smelled, and he agrees. I mean, it is it's such a special fragrance, and the texture, the heliotrope adds this texture that is just, I mean, it's amazing. So yes, Ma Liberté. I'd love to try the EDT one day. I know Galen really likes the EDT. Scent of the day, Queer by Mona D'Oreo, testing Queer to China. Osmanthus overdose. I've never smelled Queer to China, although I would love to smell a vintage Mona D'Oreo. It's something that I mentioned yesterday, I think, in the video, because Mona D'Oreo actually has an older bottle, an older version of this. And I remember listening to people from 10 years ago talk about, like Robes from, again, Mark from the Robes 08 channel, talk about how this is the greatest leather fragrance of all time. And I'm smelling this going, man, I'm not getting it, you know? I am getting a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of this charred, leathery hashiness, bit of green and all this stuff. But I am not getting greatest leather fragrance of all time from this. So I'm wondering if the old bottle with the, you know, champagne-like screw wire, like they put over the top of the corks, and it's a square, not oblong like this. I'm wondering if, even without smelling that, that's the very first thing I thought about when I smelt this. I was like, I wonder if this is reformulated. I didn't hear very many people talking about reformulation at the time, but I would love to smell a vintage and see. I'd love to own a vintage. If I could own a vintage, I'd probably sell this. I'd sell this and buy the vintage. Rich Mitch has got me on a, on a selling streak all of a sudden. Sultan Pasha Hindi Oud Nasha. I'd love to try some of Sultan Pasha's work. You know, whenever I did that, I did a video on a fragrance called Civet de Nuit, and someone reached out to me. I forgot who it was. They reached out on Instagram, and they were like, hey, man, I just wanted to let you know that the Sultan is very taken with your review of Civet de Nuit, and he'd like to send you some of his other work to sniff. And I was like, great, I would love that. And then I never heard back. That was 8 months ago, maybe. You can go check out my Civet de Nuit video. But Acqua de Chin, yes. Haven't smelled it, but Healy as a whole is fantastic, is a favorite of mine. Yeah, I really like Healy. LDE, just a couple days left. Remember, January 24th, Dessandra's coming out. I'm going to wear Dessandra's on January 24th, which is Tuesday. It's my last day in town, actually. I'm going to wear that in memory of the release date of Dessandra's. La Douleur Exquise. What a fragrance, man. Anuj is trying to finish the bottle. Healy's are great. I need to sniff more from the line. Was wearing one of those Carons. Which Caron were you wearing? Or did you actually mean Carbon? Tobacco Reserve Aramis, my scent of the day. You have a brother in here that I think Steven is testing it. Mitchell UK1, good to see you. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome. Great tobacco fragrance indeed. One of the best. Since it's been mentioned twice, I guess I'll grab it. This is it right here. Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Looks like a boring fragrance. It's anything but. And in fact, if the rumors are true, this was actually made by a perfumer who almost, I would have to say, probably came out of retirement to make this. If you listen to Fragrantica, there is no perfumer in Parfumo, which makes me worry. But because I don't like trusting Fragrantica. But if you believe them, Aramis Tobacco Reserve was done by the great Edward Fleischier. Okay. And he also made the original Davidoff. which is right here. I wish I had a bigger bottle than this, but this is all I had. So you talk about just all-time classic perfumers. The original Davidoff for men from 1984. This is fantastic. He made Poison by Dior, which I absolutely love. It's probably one of my favorite takes on tuberose. This is the vintage Esprit de Parfum. And he did Les Mediterranean Rose Tenere for Frederic Malle, which I have not smelled those yet. He did Montana Parfum Dome. And he did Vendetta Uomo. He did this one, which I talked about on the channel yesterday as well. Because there's a boozy note in here. There's a bay rum note in here. So Edward Fleischier is like to me, he's like one of the untouchable, just for parfum, you know. I've got to reach down to really get it, but just for this right here, he deserves the love just for this. This is a newer bottle. I have an older bottle too, and they are different. But if you can grab any bottle of this, forget whether it's new, old, you know, if you can get this, look at the shape of the bottle. It looks like the Tower of Babel or something. This is an amazing leather, vintage 80s leather fragrance. So good. So good. So yeah, Edward Fleischier, if it's to be believed that he actually did the Aramis Tobacco Reserve, you know, you've got like an all-star perfumer doing this. The fact that it's not in Parfumo, though, and the fact that he hasn't made a fragrance in God knows how long really makes me wonder if that's actually him that did it. Why would he come out of not doing a fragrance forever and then do something like this that only some of the couple, you know, big-time frag heads loved? It never really caught on. I think they say it's discontinued now even. So... but yes, powdery as hell. Bois Studio, beautiful AW. I love Bois Studio, one of the best from that line. It's one I have to go easy on as it's discontinued. Yes, that's right. That's right. It is officially discontinued, isn't it? Royal Tobacco and Silver Oud are the two best from the Fishman. Silver Oud's the best, in my opinion. Royal Tobacco's good. I don't think I'll get a bottle because of this. You know, Iron Duke by Beaufort scratches my Royal Tobacco itch. It's even more daring than Royal Tobacco. But it's got multiple liquor notes, tobacco, metallic notes, soapy notes. It's got this charred wood note. I mean, it feels like you're in a war. It feels like you're in a war with tanks. It feels like you're at the Battle of the Bulge, largest tank battle ever in history. And, you know, imagine you're there. The men around you think they're going to die. They're all drinking like fish. They're smoking, stuff's burning in the background. You know, you're enclosed in this tiny tank and there's metal all around you. And it's insane. It's insane. But I love crazy fragrances like this. Now, this Beaufort right here, Tonade, I don't love yet. This one's challenging for me, because the charred note that's used in Iron Duke is even more here. It really feels like heavy charred wood, lots of smoke. I need to wear it more. And I'm sure I'll come around to it, but yes, these are made in Great Britain, by the way. Cool little house. They have a leather. I really want to try the leather. It's core something. I have a video on Beaufort's Iron. Is it No, not Iron Duke, Rake and Ruin. I've got one on Rake and Ruin too, and that was very interesting as well. It smells like you're coming over on the Mayflower or something, you know? They did. They went downhill big time, but they did it to themselves. I have not smelled I have not smelled a single Thamine yet, but I'm waiting. If that hits discounters and at a reasonable price, I might just start blind buying the line. There's one they came out with in 2003, some sort of oud that I really want to try. Yeah, Silver Oud is a winner for sure. Amouage is the new Creed. Oh, God, don't say that. Sampling Maison Violet Tanagra. Never smelled it. But that Violet house really intrigues me. I love the story, Andre. Just took the wife to lunch. San Francisco's crazy with game today. Yep. I'm with you. Late to the party. Scent of the night. Van Cleef and Arpels pour on. Beautiful, GMG. Did you change your little avatar? Waiting for the dry down, not particularly into the top and mid. Really? Lust by Gorilla Perfumes. Never smelled it, Omar. What's it like? Thanks for being here, Nikki. Jesus Christ. I believe fragrances not become as popular as they are. Nowadays, these companies would be reformulating the price to make quick buck. Yep, you might be right. They're trying to get in while the getting's good kind of thing. Royal Tobacco and Silver Road are both very good. Personally, Royal Tobacco is a bit too smoky for me, but the complexity and depth is there. It is. It's also very oily, like piney, oily feeling. It comes across feeling very oily and pine. Not piney, but tarry. You know, it has a very tar-like feel. But it is very good, I must admit. If you made me buy another one from the Fishman, it wouldn't be any of the new 4 that they put out. It wouldn't be Purpose or Search or anything like that. It would be Royal Tobacco. Royal Tobacco, I think, is second runner-up of the best Fishman releases, and Silver Oud is the best. Let's just do some housekeeping here. Let's put some of this stuff away. Here's one that I haven't talked about in a while. I wore this to bed the other night. Have you guys smelled this? Cristobal Porom. I really enjoyed it. It's this coffee. It's almost like leaning gourmand territory, although it's not a gourmand. And it is done by the great Gerard Anthony. It came out in 2000. So it's 23 years old already, but it's tea and coffee combined in the opening. And it's got this benzoin, warm, resinous tobacco in the base, but it smells like a very good designer, like what a very high-end designer should smell like, but that coffee note in the top is so good. One of the best coffee fragrances in my collection. And, if it's cold outside and you want to wear something that's slightly sweet, but not super sweet, this is very, very good. I really enjoyed wearing it to bed the other night. I just wanted to remind myself of it. It's probably the most designer-like fragrance that Gerard Anthony has ever made. So you can wear this anywhere, But I'm a big fan. Cristobal por Homme by Balenciaga. Tell us what you had on today for church. It was my scent of the day. Ma Liberté. Eau de Parfum. What a fragrance. And I've got the Jean Patou pour Homme Privé on the way too. That I'm very excited about that. That's coming from Mike B. Not Mike V, Mike B. Daring by Ramsey. You think that'll sell? Maybe I'll start my own perfume line. That's a great example. Like, Koros would be on the daring list for sure. I mean, I love it, but there's no way I could say Koros isn't daring. It's one of the most daring, I think it's one of the most daring fragrances ever. Forget designer or need. The fact that it was put out by a designer makes it even more unbelievable. Yep. That's it. Everyone has their own taste, right? That's me. I didn't find Figment Man daring. That's crazy, Palace. You might be the only one. Greetings. Wearing Sergio Soldano's white absolute masterpiece. Welcome, Will. Never smelled a Sergio Soldano fragrance, believe it or not. I would love to smell black and white. They also have one that comes in this tan-like color that looks kind of cool. Speaking of daring, Iron Duke, it's so good. While daring, I find it surprisingly wearable. Yes, I do too. I do too, absolutely. Meleg Oak Moss Forest Floral. Never sniffed that one, Douglas, but welcome. Happy Sunday indeed. I do have some Melegs I'm going to do some early impressions on. Let's see. Which ones do I have? I've got, what is this? Birch Tar Russian Leather. Ooh, this is top of the list that I want to smell here. Birch Tar Russian Leather. Golden Guy, Gai. Beef Eater Gin. This could have made my boozy list yesterday. I had no clue there was Beef Eater Gin in there. Very specific brand too, Beef Eater Gin. Vienna 1900 Chocolate Patchouli. Mexican Chocolate Patchouli, Indonesian Patchouli, Canadian Pine, American Peppermint. We've got Mushin. Mushin is French Apricot, Natural Jasmine, Osmanthus, Sri Lankan Cinnamon, Japanese Hinoki Wood, Japanese Incense Accord, Indian Sandalwood, and Vietnamese Oud. And finally, Canadian Gentleman, English Lavender, American Sage, Italian Bergamot, Canadian Cedar, Canadian Pine, Omani Frankincense, and Green Leather Accord. So yes, I will do some early impressions on Meleg, hopefully very soon. Just a matter of finding time. Have you tried Hamdani by Parfum de Marly? I have not, but I can't believe Arbraz. I cannot believe that a Parfum de Marly would smell like Figment Man. There's no way. There's no way. I would bet dollars to donuts that. No way. Normal. I don't think I've tried the X-Ray. I wonder why he's so obsessed with perfumes and colognes. Me personally, I think of it like an art form. It's like a way to experience something beautiful, you know? And every day I get to wear something different. And every day I get to kind of explore something different. And, you know, I get to break down something different in my head, and you know, and then I can come back to it. That's the best part about having a big collection, is you can, like Rich Mitch says, you can kind of shop your own collection. So like, I haven't worn Sunshine Man in a while. If I wear it, I might get some different nuances. It's just it's a great way to occupy your time during the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's I think it's one of the finest hobbies that a person can have, personally. It is a little bit expensive once you start buying all these bottles, but I mean, I know people who go to the clubs and drop $1,000, $2,000 a night and not bat an eye. And so, you know, we're not harming anybody other than maybe our obsessive compulsion to continue to explore, because, you know, you have to balance exploring new stuff versus wearing what you love. And that's the balancing act when you have a big collection, because you want to wear your favorites. You know what I mean? You want to wear, for me, you want to wear your Bellamy's, your Anteuses, your Cuir de Russie, you know, that kind of stuff. Your Shalimars and all that good stuff, your Diaghilevs. And, you know, you have to balance that with exploring, trying new stuff. Like, I would love to try these Melegs, but that usually means a commitment. It's going to be my scent of the day or something like that, you know, and when you have a big collection, you want to wear what you love. You don't just want to continually try new stuff over and over and over. So that's kind of the two sides of it to me. Yeah, normal. Yeah, I don't think they're even doing the X-ray anymore, are they? I'm a Woman in Figment Man was one of the first niche fragrances I bought when I started collecting. I liked it for the earthy aspects. Jubilation 25 has become my favorite amouage. Jubilation 25 for women, yeah, it's stunning. Figment Man is a great example of what a niche fragrance should be. That civet in the opening, that animalic touch, the earthy aspects. I think it definitely is challenging, personally. You know, I love it. I think it might even be Anique Minardo's best work, but it is challenging. There's no doubt about that. You know, something is wrong when you are abandoned by Christopher Chong. I think it was the other way around. I think they abandoned him, or they basically said, "Thank you for your time. We're going in a different direction," is my guess. Or they just agreed to disagree. I don't know. Awesome fast dispatch on my order today. Kudos, buddy. Yep, that's right. Anuj does not play. Just Filthy. Yes, that's right. I have a video on it, Armando. It's not too shabby. I don't know if I would buy a bottle, because I would just wear Koros, but it is interesting. Speaking of challenging fragrances, Jeffrey Dame's Just Filthy could be on that list for sure. If you try out SHL, ignore the new collection. What's SHL, DJ? I love a man to smell leathery. Well, that's my favorite note. Leather and animalics are my favorites. No tobacco and Rothschild. It's a spicy, woody, mossy, soapy chypre. Interesting, manly sense. Hey, Jossie, welcome. Ah, the man of the hour, Mike B. I was just telling him about my purchase. My purchase that I can't wait to wear. I wore it, the feminine counterpart today, which is Ma Liberté. Ma Liberté is Jean Patou Pourhomme Privé's feminine counterpart. There's lots of lavender and clove and nutmeg. A lot of masculine notes in here, believe it or not. Scent of the day, Pierre de Valet 56, amazing. My top 3 at the moment. All right, I'm going to put that on the wish list. Pierre de Valet 56. Woody animalic. Oh, it's an animalic fragrance, is it? I wonder what it's like. It seems like each one of these Pierre de Valais fragrances are really another Roja fragrance, like redone. I wonder which one this one smells like. Ah, they say it's compared to Roja's 51 Pour Homme. The note listing does look like that. Go check out my video on Pierre de Val, or sorry, go check out my video on Roja's 51 Pour Homme might be. I think it's discontinued. But tell me if Pierre de Valais 56 reminds you of that video. My guess is that they're probably pretty close. I have a decant of it. I still have a little. I still have a couple drops left. Ah, yes. Good job, Ukio. Jordan un Homme. Beautiful. That's a great example, actually, of an underrated. Remember how I always talk about how you don't have to go buy the hype stuff. You don't have to go buy Patou Pour Homme for $1,000 to participate in this space. Just go buy something like this for $80. Something no one talks about from the 80s, discontinued, and you'll see the magic of vintage perfume. You'll be able to see exactly what we mean when we talk about, when we talk about how the ingredients were better, the construction was better. You do have to have some money to play the game, but you don't have to go buy all the big shot stuff. You can start with stuff like this and work your way up. And in fact, I've heard some people say they prefer this to Patou Pour Homme. So yes, Charles Jordan un Homme. Beautiful. Good pickup, Ukio. Hope you got a great deal on it. I think you tried Stefan. Yes, I did. Oud 777. It's a real winner, but like all things, discontinued. Yes, that's right. I really liked it. It's like an ambery oud, although I think I have the best amber oud fragrance of all time in Russian oud by Arise Ladore. So, as much as I would love Oud 77, I don't know if I would pick it up. God. This is magical stuff. Very magical. Guilty Absolute is not for me, I feel, Ramsey. Not enough amberwoods and vanilla. And yes, that's right. You need to stick to Ani, Dev. No, I have not. What to think I spent so much money for the same thing. Yeah, I know what you mean. Going 5 to 7. That's it. 5 to 7 sprays. That's a sweet spot. Do you like Soleil de Jedi, Benji? I've never smelled that. That's on my wish list to sniff. Everyone, that's one of the big hyped ones, isn't it, Dushan? It will be interesting to see what Maul does after Uncut Gem. Hopefully they just, push that aside and count that as a, as a loser and get back to what they were doing. I can't see them following that up with something, similar. I've tried that one in store, Dushan. It's very pleasant. Definitely better than God of 4. What's God of 4? I don't know about the mango skin one. It's a flanker, so no thanks. I love how our noses changes. When I first bought Gucci Guilty Absolute, I almost puked. Now I love it and just bought 2 backups. It's true. That's why I tell people don't sell stuff. Just put it away and then come back to it in a couple months or a year or whatever it is, and your thoughts will change. Your thoughts will change indeed. You don't use the stick. You take it out and put the entire thing up against your skin and rub it around. No one knows how to use the dabbers properly. Just do what I do. Decant it. Then you can just spray away. Yeah, I like Soleil de Jedi. I remember when I first tried it when it came out, it was a real wow at the time. Nice. Just scored a bottle of Scandal EDP on the Bay. I hate how much I like Roge to feel ashamed. Good job on the EDP, though. Those are hard to find. Did you get a paper label one like I got? Azaro Visit. Ah, beautiful. That's a great cheapie. Fantastic. It actually... This is actually the reason why I never went with Gucci Rush. Gucci Rush for men is like a discontinued, hard to find Gucci that sells for hundreds on eBay. It's up there with like Gucci Envy and Gucci Pour 1 from 2003 and all that good stuff. And this is a Anique Minardo. We've talked about a couple Anique Minardos today. Figment Man. Excuse me. You know, and this is also an Anique Minardo, if memory serves. Azaro Visit. And I saw the other day that this is discontinued. This is no more. No more. This is discontinued, believe it or not. So this could also be like Gucci Rush for men very soon. Very cool bottle with the built-in sprayer. But this is a beautiful take on Gaiac wood, and it has Anique Minardo's, you know, DNA in it. This woody, spicy. It is slightly synthetic. The cardamom note's beautiful. There's apparently an ambergris accord. I doubt Azaro was using real ambergris, but you never know. And frankincense and this blue Lebanon cedar note. So and it's fantastic. It's woody. It's spicy. It's so comforting. And I have to give Chris from Scentland a shout out for recommending this one. This is one of his faves, apparently. So yes, that's how I discovered it. Chris from Scentland. And with it being discontinued, if you're interested, you might want to grab a bottle while you still can for cheap. All right, let's catch up on the comments. I find already difficult accepting designer brands' relentless reformulations, but so-called niche brands doing that is outrageous. It's exactly the opposite of what they stood for. Yes, you're right. That's why I think so many of us are going to the past, because this is where, you know, instead of going forward and going to the future, this is where you have to go. You've got to go backwards to go forwards. It's sad, but true. It's sad, but true indeed. I mean, hell, just like my scent of the day today. Ma Liberté is so good. It is so good indeed. One of the best lavenders. Lumiere Pour Homme is an absolutely beautiful spicy rose, so lush and beautiful, but still very manly. Never smelled it. Sounds nice. So that was my son that hijacked the live stream with the masculine cherry query. Your son, eh? No, it's okay. You can like cherry 99 Scooby-Doo. No, I'm just kidding. I could totally see that. All the young kids are just, you know, Tom Ford puts something out and it's like they just flock, you know. I really hate. I really don't like the note of cherry. I mean, I like it in L'Eau Medial, Eau de Parfum, something like that is okay. But that whole Tom Ford cherry, you know, craze is just insane. Have fun at the horses. Thanks again, Rachel. I'll see you later. Wearing Raw Gold by Thomas DeMonico, layered with Shalimar. Has the Ram ever smelled Raw Gold? I have not. It's honey suede, patchouli, lipstick, and plum. It got a lot of hype in Fragcom, but here's the thing. Anytime fragrances get hype in Fragcom, I get worried because I always get let down every single time. Every time I smell a fragrance that's been hyped by Fragcom, I'm disappointed. Very rarely is it something that I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is awesome. No, it's the opposite. Morning from Perth, Western Australia. Max temp 39 Celsius. Scent of the day. Oh, to kangaroo. Micah, welcome. Sycamore EDP. I really would love a vintage EDT. They're so hard to find. Yes, Jean Patou is the peak of French luxury, man. I moved to Texas 4 years ago, so I had heard all the possible permutations and combinations of my name. Nice. Nice, Arbaz. I will keep that in mind from now on. Thank you for correcting me. Had a bottle of Voyager in the 90s. Loved it. Yes, it's awesome. I think it's one of the best aquatics for someone like me. You pulled the trigger on Opus 11, did you? All right, Allie, let me ask you this. Have you smelled Gucci Guilty Absolute yet? Because this is almost like the younger brother of Gucci Guilty Absolute. Gucci Guilty Absolute came out in let's see. Gucci Guilty Absolute came out in 2017, and Amouage Opus 11. Amouage Opus 11 came out in 2018, so it came out 1 year later. So you can clearly see the inspiration, I think. You know, Opus 11 was clearly inspired by Gucci Guilty Absolute, which is insane because this is a designer and this is a niche. Usually it's the niche that put out the daring stuff, and then it's the designers that follow suit. But this was so daring and so different that it actually worked in reverse this time. The designer put out the Trailblazer, and then the niche brand followed along. So this is actually why I don't have a bottle of this, because Opus 11 is like a smokier, more intense version with oud, take on Gucci Guilty Absolute to me. That's how I see it. That's how it smells to me. If you have smelled Gucci Guilty Absolute, Allie, I would love to hear your thoughts once you get Opus 11. I don't know if this is discontinued. I don't know what Amouage is doing, only giving names to some of the Opus fragrances. Like Opus 5 is called Wood Symphony. Opus 7 is Reckless Leather. Stuff like that they started to do. But what about these that don't have a name? Does that mean that they're not going to transfer over to the new bottles, or what is Amouage doing? I have no clue. Wasps from the Loft just served a video about LDE. Beautiful. It deserves its love. It's the best fragrance of 2022. I saw that too. Nice. They're doing all three, so interested to hear what they think. That's good stuff, Joe. Glad to hear it. What about Ocean Rain? Love it. That Ocean Rain is probably one of my other favorite aquatics. Ocean Rain and Voyager would go back and forth. I also really like Aramis New West. And of course, if you wanted to put Green Irish Tweed in that category, you could. Those are big four aquatics for me. That's pretty much as deep as I go into the aquatic territory. Using Mysore Sandalwood right now would take the prices to Roja Dove prices almost as 3 ml of Mysore Sandalwood costs around $100. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Quick shout out to the Les Straits. The first two releases are blowing my mind, and I think some of the best releases of the last 10 years. I cannot wait for Desandres. Have you smelled Devon, Scott? If I urge you to also just go buy Devon when you buy Desandres. If you don't own Devon, you don't have to go hunt down a vintage bottle like mine. I mean, if you can, I would encourage it because it's the best version of Devon that you'll find. But I think you'll really appreciate Desandres even more once you understand Devon from the 70s. Devon is a Bernard Shaw creation, and it came out in 1977. And you have to remember, in the 70s, it was big to have this. It was big to have this green Chypre accord going, and so yes, this is. I think you'll really appreciate Dessandra's more if you get yourself Devon as well. That's my opinion. But Dessandra's by itself is an amazing experience. You don't have to buy Devon, but I think you'll appreciate the little subtleties that Antoine Lee drops in the fragrance even more if you do know it. Hello, sir. You look beautiful. Thank you, Ringo. Essence de Patchouli from Petit Monte Carlo. Never smelled it. My God, how good this is. I've actually forgot to name it on your patchouli fragrance video. I've never smelled that one. I really like Rose de Taif Extrait from Paris Monte Carlo. I love wearing that in the heat. That lemony rose in the heat is just amazing. It's really good. Yeah, Belle Âme is really good. It's a great iris. I've said this before. I ended up buying 31 Rue Cambon instead. I decided I did want to buy an iris, but it wasn't going to be Belle Âme. I decided on 31 Rue Cambon, but that's just my personal taste. I think I like this a little bit more, but you can't go wrong with Belle Âme. It's such a great, go watch my video on it and just take a look at how almost in awe of the materials I was. The materials are so high class from Belle Âme. Everything that Les Abstraits put out, the materials are top notch. You know, they compete with the Rojas, the Frederic Malls, the MFK, you know, all the big niche brands, the Amouage, they compete with all of them. Evening Rock. Isn't it just lovely that ginger zing and cacao sprinkle over that tooth iris? I've never heard it described as a tooth iris. That's interesting. That's an interesting descriptor, Scott. Thanks, kid. Rudy. I was going to say tooth iris. Let me see what he's saying that I'm not actually understanding. Cosmere Era Polo Green. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, man. You got to go back. You have to go back to go forward. Polo Green, Cosmere, or Warner. I've got a Warner, which is before Cosmere. It's amazing. You know, stuff like this, which I was showing off earlier. Devon. These are the fragrances that, unfortunately, we've got to go back to and enjoy. Cristobal Porom, Ma Liberté. You know, these are the vintages that I think we will enjoy. Montana Parfum Dome. It's just, as a fragrance lover, the industry did this to themselves. Us deciding, screw you, we're going to only buy stuff like, you know, the Les Abstraits or the vintage or, you know, something along those lines. The vintage fragrances, they did it to themselves. They can't be mad at us for going that route. You know, between them putting out stuff like this and just living off of it for 10 years, you know, putting out Sauvage and living off of it for 10 years. And I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. This is the Parfum. And the Parfum is a good fragrance. I just don't want to smell like everyone else. I don't want to smell like everyone else that I smell. And so maybe in 20 years I'll wear that. Who knows? But Fahrenheit Parfum, I do get a booziness from it. But what really pops off my skin is that vanilla. Yes. And I don't think there's a place in Fahrenheit for vanilla, personally. I don't think there was a place in it. I think it clashes. I don't think it fits very well. It's too sweet. They lost that gasoline opening that made Fahrenheit so great. but it's much more unisex. This is much more modern. I prefer the vintage, of course, or the absolute, but the Parfum is still good. It's got that boozy vanilla. Yes, that's another one. Dior Jules. I mean, you could just go on and on and on and on and on of why the fragrances from the past were better. You can't convince me that nowadays they're even in the same ballpark. I mean, this is, oh God, this is what a man should smell like. Jules, Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, Polo Cosmere, or Warner. You know, that's the stuff. I mean, that's the juice. That's what men's fragrances should be, not this. No offense, Cuban, but or this. And you know, I'd take the OG Fahrenheit. That's what I imagine that a man should smell like. I love the classic and the absolute too. Good night, Joe. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here. I've sampled Memoir Man yesterday. Love it so much. There's some key elements of Portrayal Man for me. Kind of a nostalgia 80s fragrance. Nice. Portrayal has one of the most unbelievable gasoline openings of any fragrance. Like if you like the way that the gasoline smell in Fahrenheit is in the first half an hour, Portrayal Man is on another level. And I mean, look at this bottle. Stunning piece of artwork. I mean, it's just the gunmetal cap. This really, really grew on me. At first, I didn't know what to think of it, and it really grew on me. I love that gasoline-like opening nowadays. And Memoir, of course, is in a forest of its own. It's like a psychedelic forest where you ever seen the poster for what's that movie about Vegas, Las Vegas, or LA? Can't remember. Which one was it? Or you ever seen the Scream picture from Van Gogh where everything's kind of blurred? You know, it's got that forest blur. It's got that psychedelic imagery blur, you know, that blurred forest vibe in the opening for me. Very green with that absinthe and that Dr. Seuss-like forest note, you know, something out of a fairy tale. It's amazing. Yep. So much better. And yes, quite different than 2016 release indeed. You would love the new Beaufort scent. Really, I want to try the whole line. I just want to blind buy the whole line, I think. Smell like an old Russian man's bad breath. I love Safari. Go for the Cosmere version. It's an Amber Fougere right up there with Heritage or YSL Jazz or Escada Pour Homme. Safari is amazing. Safari for men. Pine Ward, Pine Ward's another house that I need to do early impressions on. Honestly, we should take these. We should take the time on these live streams, and I should be doing some early impressions for you guys. But just the back and forth is, I mean, just as enjoyable for me. So. Bob Papillon Tobacco Rose yesterday. Waiting to come, and we'll test all the house soon. You're in for a treat. Is it a blind buy, Ringo? You're in for a treat. That's one of the best natural rose auto smelling fragrances I've ever smelled. It's amazingly realistic. And that hay note that she uses in there to emulate tobacco is brilliant. Yep, sample, decant, and then full bottle. Yes, don't do as we say. Do not do as we do. Don't go blind by everything. Queer Canage. It's a lot like Rich Mitch described. Queer de Russie, but much simpler, equally good smelling. Yeah, do you get this big, bright purple color in your head when you smell that? I get lots of purple. The color purple pops in my head. Lots of iris and leather for Queer Canage. I think it's very good. Hey, Jonathan, welcome. Yep, I got the game on in the background. Bois de Portugal, beautiful. Gourmand, but a bit fougere. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. There is a little bit of gourmand and a little bit of fougere. Yeah, now that you say that, I think you're right. There's definitely some green touches in there. The last good thing done by Balenciaga. You're exactly right. It was all downhill after this. This was it. And you can see the frosted back. Yep, 2000. Everything was downhill from there. Bedtime, Night Juro. I know you have Le Parfum de Thérèse Ramsey, and from my sample, I have to say I like it. It gives me this early morning dew type smell. Yeah, it's the master. It's Edmund Rudnitska. And it turns into this leather sheepra in the dry down. So your dad has a hell of a signature, Arbraz. And there is this lavender, pepper, and tea. You're right. You mean in Cristobal. Yes, you're exactly right. Speaking of well-blended lavender scents, now that I'm thinking about it, this is in the well-blended lavender scent category, isn't it? It really is. It's in the well-blended lavender scent category for sure. Cristobal por Homme. Is there lavender in here? Parfumo doesn't list lavender, but I do get it. I just smelling it from the atomizer, I do get a lavender accord. It says mugwort, coffee, tea, white pepper, geranium, coriander, nutmeg, sandalwood, amber, benzoin, tobacco, and vanilla. No lavender according to Parfumo. Ukyo. Who is your team? Niners or Bills? All off when the boys come on. Ah, you're a Niner fan, Jonathan. As Christopher Chaw, yes, he did. It's called Insignia. I haven't smelled it yet, though. I really want to. What's up, Galen? Wazamba. I have a decant of that. I need to talk about it on the channel. Nobody. It's Sunday, and my wife dragged me to church, so I figured I'd be in a peaceful mood today. What do you make of Wazamba, Galen? Nice. Wouldn't have the $400 bottle collection if it weren't for his Bois de Portugal. I'm with you, man. Speaking of amazing lavender scents, 49ers will play the Eagles for the championship of the NFC. Best two teams. The Sergio Soldanos are all okay. Well done for the cheap price they are sold. Nice. I need to sniff them. Initio Oud for Greatness is daring to me. I would never dare to wear it. It is pretty bad, isn't it? I think it's one of my most hated fragrances. Arbaz, love that. My dad inspired my collecting as well. Yeah. Well, my old man had his signature of Paco Rabanne pour Homme. So Iron Duke went up in price. Yes. I think I got mine from Fragrance Buy for under $100. Golden Guy is a famous area in Tokyo that has an incredibly dense sprawl of very small bars. So that's where the booze comes from. Interesting. Thanks for that, Dev. I know you're a fan of Japanese history, so I appreciate you sharing. My cousin from Italy gave me a bottle of Sergio Soldano White 2000. Oh my God, so fresh. Burnt through it in 3 weeks. Cheers, Dom. That's crazy. He lives in the Bay. And here I am. I live in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I hate the Cowboys. So I'm actually cheering for the Niners because I don't want the people that I work with to be happy when the Cowboys win. I ordered a decant of Hamdani just to make sure, but if there's anywhere close to Figment, man, I'm going to be shocked. No way. No way it's going to be anything like Figment. And watch Figment Man have similarities a lot with Zoologist Bat, and Woman Figment smells exactly like Zoologist Cow. Exactly. I have a decant of Cow. Interesting. I've never smelled Bat, Ali. I know there's a reformulation too. So, hey, Justice, welcome. Scent of the day, Chanel 19. That's usually a spring summer wear for me, but I wonder how it is in the cold. Do you think part of the reason people hate the House of Cree is because they can't afford it? Is it easier for people to hate something than to admit they're broke? That's a good question. I don't know about that one, RXL. Maybe that's part of it. But I mean, hell, I can afford it, and I'm not a fan of what the house has done as of late, like the path that they've turned on. I'll admit I like the stuff from, you know, the olden times, but since 2017, I can't get on with where the house is going. Sergio Soldano Havana, the peach-colored one. No one ever talks about it. Most mention the narrow black cologne. Reminds me of Halston 112 versus Z14 thing. Nice. I need to try them both. The lies, the degradation of their perfume since 2017, their price hikes despite lower quality of their juice. Yeah, there's a lot to hate about Creed. You have a Ventus on that photo. Yes, he does. Mike B sent me a parcel today. Can't wait. Yes, it is cool to see you on the streams, RXL. Pierre de Valais 1 is a killer. Okay. I'll put the Pierre de Valais on the list. Ram gonna make Ma Liberté a Grail perfume. Well, you're actually the one. You and Thomas are the one that got me to buy this. I think that's where I first kind of got the idea. I'm trying to think where I first heard of Ma Liberté, because I got this bottle about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was either on your channel or Thomas's, if memory serves. But I mean, you've done multiple videos on it. You put it in top 5 most worn fragrances of the month, all the stuff that you've done, and the price never seems to move. No one ever seems to listen to us. Ram Ranch, you wanted me to let know about Amber Oud, and it's a stunner, and I will easily buy a bottle one day. Good to hear it, Dennis. Yeah. The only thing about Amber Oud is this. It doesn't feel like there's any real amber, and it doesn't feel like there's any real oud. That's what it feels. That's the thing about it to me, is if you're going to give Roja $750 or whatever it is, why not give a Riege Ladore $250 to $500 for a bottle and get something with real oud and real amber? That's the part of the journey where I'm at with those Rojas. I agree, it's nice. And in fact, there is a scent that I did a video on. I did a video on a couple weeks back. I forget what it was called. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So if you like that Amber Oud, there's a video that I did called by the House of Moresque called Amiro. Came out in 2015. Emiro. The house is Moresque, Moresque, and it came out in 2015. It's a little bit cheaper than Amber Oud or Roja's just regular oud fragrance, and they smell so close. It is very good. I think Amber Oud's probably the best of the line. I have a video up on it from almost exactly 3 years ago, from exactly a year ago almost. I did that video. All three Soldanos, Black, White, Havana, are bang for bucks. Even the current formulations, crazy, but they still make them. Are pretty decent. Go for 10 to 15 euros. Nice. Un homme de Charles Jourdan, just the bottle alone of the EDT Splash. Yes, you're right. The bottle, the cap, you actually pop it up and then twist it. So it's got this kind of like locking mechanism. Kind of cool. But yes, the bottle is amazing. And I think the perfumer is Francois Caron, if memory serves. Pierre Bourdon's ex-wife. Nina Ricci Memoir Dome, another underrated gem. Never smelled it, Jonathan, but I'll put it on the to sniff list. Nina Ricci Memoir Dome from 2002, discontinued. Licorice leaf, grapefruit, nutmeg, ginger, blue atlas cedar, vetiver, and opaline. Nice. A licorice scent. All right, it's on the to sniff list. Got a bottle of Charles Jourdan on its way from Manouche. Very nice. Very nice, Keith. I figured you already owned everything. I meant God of Fire. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. Got to get a sealed backup of Gucci Guilty Absolute. Future prices will make a great trading chip. You're right. See, you think about this like chess, Jonathan. I don't look forward that far in the future. I don't have that strategic mindset. Recently picked up Opus 11 after seeing your old review, likening it to Gucci Guilty Absolute Love. Do you agree, Adam? Do you agree with the comparison? Is there some truth to it? I think it's the closest thing I've ever smelled to Gucci Guilty Absolute. I almost consider it like a backup of Gucci Guilty. There's a reason I don't own a backup bottle of this. Is there anything else from the line that you guys like, the Gucci Guilty line? You forgot the cringe fanboy. You didn't miss anything, Nikki. Welcome to the party. Don't sell that vintage Mancera, Cedrat, Boisé, and bathe in the synthetic goodness. I'm sure your opinion will change. I already passed it on to be sold, actually. I gave it to Mudasir. So if you go to his page and you see a vintage non-magnetic cap, Mancera, Cedrat, Boisé, do kind of, push the price up a little bit for me. That's right. I have Visit and Rush. Visit is better, no doubt. You think it's better, like 1-to-1 better? Because I got this for $20. This 100 ml. They're selling Gucci Rush for hundreds, $300 online. But it's good to hear you say you objectively think that they're better. Bought a bottle of Azzaro Visit for $20. They are selling it. Is it $100 now? I didn't know that. I got mine for $20 too for 100 mils. So yes, good stuff. Dushan, I have a penchant for accuracy. I can't let a typo by like that. Nostalgic, yeah. For people who wore it back in the day, right? Yeah, I agree. I think Rich Mitch is right about that. The 5 ounce. Yes, I've seen that 5 ounce bottle. Have one in the cart right now. Raw gold is good, Rams, but 50 ml price is a bit of a piss pull. Really? They're that expensive, huh? Strictly in terms of bottle, physical presentation, Gucci Rush Men is the absolute worst fragrance product ever made. Absolute trash, garbage bottle, disgusting. And this coming from a man who has thousands of fragrances in his warehouse, maybe tens of thousands. All right, go to sleep, Dev. Good chatting with you. Good night. X has one, but I saw one on eBay and a notch cheaper. How much is the Gucci Guilty Absolute going for? I think like 125, 140, 150, something like that. I've still seen these 90 ml bottles for sub 100. So yes, they're out there. That robotic bottle of Paco Rabanne Phantom is ugly, hideous, absolutely hideous. And you know, speaking of big bottles, there's a 240 ml Paco Rabanne Pour Homme floating around out there. I've seen. My parents were Scotch drinkers in the 70s, 80s, and I got a blast of Scotch when I apply my sample of raw gold. Interesting. Yeah, 90 and 150. This is the 90, and then they do 150 as well. Rush is bloody worse. Gross plastic and cheap tin plates on their sides held together by glue for little kids used in school. Yeah, the 5 ounce. If you can get the 5 ounce for $100, that's good. That's good. I think I paid $65 for this one a couple years back. I like the heavy ones, and I know no one around me will have it. So, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're talking about the Amouage Opus 11. Yes. Well, if you love this, just out of curiosity, I would love, if you really dig this smell, get a bottle of Gucci Guilty Absolute and let me know what you think. If anything, it'll be a great selling chip down the road because it's discontinued. The quick dispatch from Anuj, that's right. Anuj does not play when it comes to shipping times, that's for sure. If you guys are interested in Desandras and you want to really get the full experience, if Anuj still has these bottles of Devon, don't even hesitate. This alone is worth buying. Forget about the link to Desandras. But to truly enjoy, I think, the connection, this is a no-brainer. The animalics in this are stunning. One of the best masculine green chypras I've ever smelled. Ever of all time, ever. Yep, if Anuj still has those, scoop them up. They should do like tell Eugene to ship you a couple, 100 bottles of Desandras and do a package deal. Get a vintage Devon with your bottle of Desandras, Anuj. You can ship directly from your warehouse. Bogdan Barecha, welcome. Good to see you. Gucci Guilty Gucci Pour Homme from 76. Yes, it's fantastic. I got this little baby bottle. Not as cool as the one with the little buckle around it, but it is a Guy Robert creation. Amazing stuff. Distributed by Scannin. Yep. No messing around there, John. For the next haul, for sure. Yeah, I know what you mean, Keith. You consider it a gourmand, huh? I'll force myself to wear this one day, and then I'll regret that I did. Bogdan, that stuff is fire. You're on it, Rich. You've been on this Bogdan stuff. I've never even heard of it. Bogdan. Is it Justice Bogdan? B-O-G. I don't see that, Rich. Ah, Bogdan, D-A-N. No, it comes up with Justice Bogdan. Huh, I'll have to do some digging on that one. About ours, did you smell Misia? No, I have not. I have not. I wish Eugene had them in 50 mils like less than Demo Dablas. I only need 50. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But I've loved La Pausa. Nobody talks about it. I have I've got a sample of Bella Respiro that we'll talk about very soon. But I've yet to smell La Pausa. Do you sense a difference between the EDT and the EDP, Ringo? €40. Nice. Happy Sunday, Interference. Edmund Burke created that screen picture. Yes, that's right. Thank you. How on earth do you find unicorns for $40? Sorry, Edward Munch. Thank you again. Thanks for the correction. Edward Munch created Scream. Yes. And befriend the widows. Anuj, do you have vintage Jules? Lavender bombs make great bedtime scents. My current favorite is Puig Agua Lavanda. Never smelled it. Yeah, I don't think Anuj has any Jules, but I've got a backup bottle on the way. Thank gods. Praise the Lord. This is backup bottle worthy for sure. Oh. Scent of the Stream, Portos. Beautiful hub, welcome. It is a tough one to find indeed. Oh, it's funny. Just recently picked up Amouage Opus 11. Blind Buy after seeing you liking it to Gucci Guilty. Absolutely love it. Looking forward to trying. Good to hear, Adam. Glad to hear it. So you agree it is very, I think they're very, very similar. I'm Italian and can confirm. There's so many. 2 vintage Pot Espagnas. But all the YouTube fragrance people say Oud for Greatness is the greatest. Ugh, it's so bad. I just won't buy niche fragrances. I don't hate on them. There you go. Yeah. People also tend to hate things that have become popular. This is true. And I've avoided that trend. Like I love Aventus. I've got like 3-4 bottles still. Because I never want to be without the old Aventus. And now I'm really glad I did, because to me, Creed's dead. So that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. Thinking of Elephant from Zoologist. I have a sample, Micah. I'll do a video on it soon if you'd like. Yep. Goodbye, Antonio. Enjoy the Cowboy. I guess I'll flip it to the Cowboy game soon. I got to go soon as well. I got to go get my run in. I've got to go get my run in while the sun's still out. Cheers, Jonathan. Greetings, La Flame. Greetings from Germany. What's up, Nissan? You know, I still have so many of your samples to go through. Look at this. I've got Libertine Sweet Grass, right? I've got Olympic Orchids Woodcut. These are all early impression videos that we have to do. I've got Moon Sillage Pays Dogon. I've got Parfums Prisana Haxan, which I think just came out last year. We've got Arquiste Non-Bon. Never smelled that one still. Meleg Birch Tar and Russian Leather. Can't wait to wear that. And then finally, we've got Francesca Bianchi, the Black Knight. So many of these that you sent me, I still have yet to do videos on. Which one should I start with? The final Francesca Bianchi, the Black Knight. Chess is my game. That's right, Dushan. 90 euros on Notino. That's a steal. That's a steal for sure. You tried Ambra Aurea, Ambra Aurea, and Civet Cat Chypre from Meleg. You will like the Civet Cat Chypre for sure. I wish I had a bottle so I could send you a sample. I have not tried that one. I just went through my Meleg samples and that's not on there. Although Birch Tar and Russian Leather is, and that sounds like my kind of vibe. So I'm excited about that one. Yep, it's amazing. Do not sell that in the Purge. The Great Purge of 2023. Do not sell Devon. Don't do it. Don't do it, Rich. What was the fragrance? Yeah, I got that now. But what was the fragrance you were talking about? I was never called a perfume. Yes. Rich was telling me about a fragrance he bought the other day, and I forgot to look it up. So when he mentioned that, I was like, let me look it up, and then I realized he was talking to you. Apologies. No, I have the chance to smell the EDT, but I'll reach to buy the old EDT, but I already have all excuses. Okay. All right, I got you, Ringo. But you think it's worth hunting the vintage. Maybe I'll look around. Green Irish Tweed, beautiful. Italians do not know what they are selling, but May Americans do not know what they are buying. That's right. Has time for YouTube for hours, work, be a family man, and run. You got to fit it all in, man. I don't do marathons. No, I'll usually do a couple miles at my own pace, which is usually pretty slow. A jog. Let's call it a jog. Ambra Aurea is the best amber I've ever smelled. Okay, hang on. Ambra Aurea. The Perfumum Roma. No, I have not. It's on my wish list. I've still never smelled a single Perfumum Roma. Zero. None. Zilch. Is Gucci Guilty Absolute current formulation worth the purchase? There is no current. There's only one formulation. This is it. Just buy it. Whatever you can get. It's all discontinued. There's no versions to worry about with the old Gucci Guilty Absolute. And if you love it, you can go for Amouage Opus 11. It's like a niche version of Gucci Guilty Absolute. Did you win that brag? Brag. That was it. Braggi. Okay, let me look this up. Braggi. Here it is. Charles Revlon Eau de Cologne, right? Spicy, leathery. Sounds like my kind of scent. All right, it's on the wish list. It's on the wish list, Rich. Yeah, I think it's discontinued, FCM. There's only ever been one of the best. I'd say start with non-bond just because I'm curious to hear your take on it. Okay, see what I can do. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe that'll be my sense of the day tomorrow, and I'll do an early impression video on it. It's already midnight in Paris. Another good one, midnight in Paris. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night, Ringo. Thanks for being here. Yep, you beat me to it, Dushan. Umbra Aurea's Perfumum is Perfumum Roma. I'll send you some samples from the brand, not cheap. Arso you'll love Arso. Yeah, because Arso's like feeling Agil, right? I appreciate that, Flippo. Yeah, I've never smelled anything from the brand. I am blind when it comes to Perfumum Roma. So yes. Well, with that, I better go get my run on. We're pushing 2.5 hours and my voice is starting to give, and the chat people were at 70. Now we're down to 47. So I'm guessing that you guys are also ready to go watch the Cowboy game. So I'll sign off and get to my running. Thank you, everybody, for watching me today. Thanks for being a part of the live and participating. It is very, it's very freeing that I can just hit the stream and bam, you guys are there and giving feedback and back and forth. And they're great little little pockets of insight on the stuff we're buying and all that good stuff. So thanks, everybody. Oh, do like the stream, though, if you're still here. I know I don't say that often enough, but I appreciate everybody who licks the stream, gives it a thumbs up, all the usual stuff that you do. I think it does really help the YouTube algorithm, bring more people to Channel Ram, bring more like-minded people to Channel Ram. So cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye now.